Good morning and welcome along to another live stream from Dundee United with me, Daniel. We're back today for the start of the second season, which means we've got lots of transfer news. It means we've got our first games of the league season. And of course, we've also got a European qualifier on the cards as well. So plenty of action to come over the next hour and a half or so. And plenty of chances for you to tell me what I've done wrong, particularly in the transfer window, of course. So let's see how we get on. Thank you to everyone that's joining me this morning. Good morning all. Quick apology. I think I may have just shut the browser while playing. My mistake. But anyway, good morning. Welcome all. Maka, Nanana, L Gaming, welcome along. Thank you all for popping in. Happy New Year to everyone. It is the first one since, so thank you for popping along. I'm glad you're all alright. And hopefully you're looking forward to today. Thank you for everyone in the comments as well. Andrew Green. Thank you for popping in, son. Nanana, welcome along. You're the new guy. I saw you yesterday in the comments. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, 3rd of January, but Happy New Year, everyone. It's the first live stream since, so we'll get the messages out early. Thank you all for popping in this morning. Carl, good morning as well. Nice to see a number of the regulars in too. I hope you're all keeping well. I hope you've all been enjoying the football this new year and the weekend. And of course, it is big time with Dundee United. Maka, where did we finish last season? We finished 3rd with Dundee United. If I show you the table, because that's where I wanted to start actually, and it's nothing to do with us. If we go and have a look at the table for last season, we finished in 3rd place on 73 points, sort of in a league of our own, behind the old firm and ahead of the rest. But look who went down. Hibs in 11th place, and it wasn't just that they went down. If we go and have a look at their schedule to see how they got on, they lost in the playoff final to Dunfermline, or the semi-final I should say. They won the away leg 2-1 and then bottled it with a 2-0 defeat at home. Both goals in the first 5 minutes. And Carl, it included your legend Ryan Shotton not performing at centre-half for them. They've got some very good players and they shouldn't have been going down. But it is what it is. It means we've got European football. We haven't got Hibs in the top tier. And we've got a lot to talk about. So we'll come back to all of that in a moment. We've of course got lots of transfers to get through and lots of else as well. Yeah, Nanani, you've picked a save I considered actually, which is Deportivo La Coruña. Formerly a side I used to watch on the free football nights on ITV for the Champions League, and the fall from grace has been epic. So it was nearly one I did for the one club story, but in the end we went with Bangor. But if Deportivo are still down there next year, it might be my save. Carl doing a Portugal lower league save. Most weird setup, and now in the second league. I don't think, bar the one season in the top flight in FM19, I don't think we've managed in Portugal. Craig, good morning. Welcome along. Into double figures already. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all of you that are following along. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Please do chuck one on there if you haven't already. It does make such a difference. Helps people find us. And of course, come and get involved down in the chat as well. Ross, good morning. Thank you for coming in. Do appreciate it. Gaming, yeah, special guest in the house at the weekend due to the New Year fireworks. And that's a good way for me to plug Instagram and Twitter, isn't it? Go and have a look over on those. You can get all the updates as we're going live. And you can, of course, contact me on there as well in between the streams. The same as the Discord, which is growing all the time. Carl Ryan shot on lower league legend. Yeah, the Scottish Premier League wasn't for him, though, it seems. Though I'm impressed Hibs went and looked for him. Maka, they did something similar in real life years ago when they played Hamilton, yeah. And then they ended up in the second tier. But then they won the Scottish Cup, so I guess we got to watch out for that. Nanana in the 3rd tier now. I never knew that till I saw the vid. Yeah, it's a bizarre one, isn't it? I don't know how they ended up there. But it's going to be an interesting re-rise. Sheffield Wednesday turnover point deduction. Really? Is that done, is it? Because, I mean, considering they haven't paid their players on time, they'll probably get another one soon, wouldn't they? Oh, because they're out of the bottom 3 now, aren't they? So, it's a very strange one because They were on good form. I mean, Tony Pulis had turned the corner before he got sacked. He'd got 4 points from his previous 2 games prior to that. Thanks for popping in, Dan Howe, as well. I do appreciate it. The one thing I would say is they weren't vintage performances. We've talked about it on the podcast a lot. They're no different, really, to a lot of the other Sheffield Wednesday performances. It's just that this time they took their chances and the opponents didn't. They didn't dominate the games. They didn't have more shots. It was a bizarre goal in the last game, wasn't it? But winning games is all that matters. Oh, you mean me do a Wednesday save? I would have if they'd stayed on -12, but by the time the game came out, it was -6. So they probably would have been my live stream save if it was -12. But unfortunately, that's why we went with Wigan for the beta stream instead. Otherwise, it would have been Wednesday if they'd been on 12. And I know I'm thinking of doing a Scottish Fallen Giant. It's not a bad idea. I mean, there's a few sides that are right down there. Berwick have fallen out of the league altogether, and they were always in sort of League One level. There was Brechin, who we started with. They'd had a full 2 years in a row. Queen's Park are in the bottom tier. There's some big city ones as well. So there's definitely some options there. But yeah, we'll see. Carl, I'm Victoria Settervale. Major money problems. So have they dropped down the leagues? Because they were always top tier, weren't they? They were in Europe a few years back. Yeah, L Gaming, Discord, much appreciated. Dan, Al, let me off. L Game, Wrexham are now in 15th. I mean, the National League table is one of the most bizarre ones. Because, I mean, Dover at the bottom have played, 10 games? And now the team at the top in Torquay have played 17. So if Dover win all of their games in hand, conceivably, I know that won't happen, they could gain 21 points. So that would be, 27? They'd be second in the league. The team at the bottom, if they win their games in hand, go second. And the problem with, I've said this a couple of times with the National League, it's going to go down to points per game. And the teams who have played less games are going to get disadvantaged and they're going to complain about it. And it's all going to end up being a mess. In terms of Wrexham, I wouldn't worry. I think it's become quite clear that they're not probably going to win the league. And it's going to be either Torquay, possibly Stockport or Notts County if they win their games in hands. But that playoff contention, you say Wrexham are 15th. You're 3 points off 5th and 4 points off 4th. So there's putting perspective into it. A league position's not all that important at the minute. There's that little league of 5 at the bottom, and aside from that, it's all very close together. Oh, Charlie, we've got to talk about Charlie Adam, haven't we? Thank you for popping in. Dundee v Hearts on BBC Scotland last night. Obviously our head coach side Dundee. And wow, Charlie Adam rolled back the ears, ran down the left wing, nuts the defender, got to the byline, just dinked in a little cross for the centre forward. Brilliant result. Charlie Adam was fantastic. So were Dundee. They just need to be more consistent. Our game in Stockport, no. Carl, they dropped down 2 leagues and trying to repair their finances. Oh, it's a good little challenge then. There's quite a few teams like that. We talk about Deportivo. There were some teams like that in Germany as well. There's definitely a few saves out there. Green talked to you about the Old Firm yesterday. Bizarre game. Celtic were brilliant for the first half. The one thing I worried about, and I said this to you before it, is that Rangers, when they win the Old Firm, like last season around this time, they put too much on it. They thought that was the moment and then went on a horrid run. I know there will be a wobble at some point for Rangers, but it should be the thing that wraps up the title. Yeah, you've got loads of games in handheld gaming. With 3 more games, you could be right at the top of the playoffs there. Yeah, there's plenty of good Scottish sides in the 2nd or 3rd tier. Inverness is probably the best one, because they were SPL a little while ago and they're now in the 3rd tier. Falkirk are down there as well. Although, actually, I don't think Inverness are. I think that was just in my save a year later. Macca, Hearts fans blaming the ref, as he was the same ref last time they lost. Oh, Dundee were the better side by a million miles. Cole, Charlie Adam never used to run anyway at Stoke, stick him in a deep line playmaker role. Well, you would have thought. He was flying down the left wing last night. Looked fit as a fiddle. Macca, Celtic got FM yesterday. Yeah, they were brilliant. But, they don't score goals. I think they're almost better at this point. They've got 3-star players in Cham, Edward and Aya. I mean, Aya's potentially on board still, but the other 2, I would say just sell them and get in 4 or 5 good replacements. Tom, I saw Kieran Tierney's goal before I came live this morning. It's a fantastic goal. Really good player. But I said to you he's a good player. I really rate him. good to see he's got over those injuries as well. Hearts were a good one, got relegated. Yeah, absolutely. Another team in the second tier. Dundee are in the second tier as well. Obviously, I'm managing them in the head coach now, but they're a good side to go for. Macca, please don't say Falkirk on here. Yeah, Falkirk League 1, to be fair, it's a good challenge, isn't it? They were SPL not long ago. Charlie's gone for the same. Macca's unhappy with all of us. Thank you to everyone coming in as well. Please do chuck a thumbs up if you haven't already. But I suppose we've got to get on with some transfer news, haven't we? Love the vids. Thank you, Gamer McCaw. Appreciate you popping in. East Fife. Yeah, definitely worth a go. They're down in the bottom at the moment. But I suppose in the league you would go for Falkirk as one that's been at the top quicker. Or more recently, sorry. A lot of people doing Dundee. Well, I've ended up at Dundee and Dundee United by chance. I don't quite know how it's worked out that way. But let's get on to transfer news, shall we? Because I don't know if we're going to get to Europe now because we've got a lot of games. Let's have a look at the schedule. We've got Kilmarnock, Hamilton, Livingston, and then the qualifier, which is going to be against either Gothenburg or Osijek. And in the next episode will be Celtic, Gothenburg, the second leg, Dunfermline, and probably Livingston as well. But let's have a look at the transfers because we've done quite a bit of good business. You saw a little glimpse of it there. Let's go back to last season first. So in terms of outs, we went big with getting out the backup players to really start again with a squad. There isn't a team I hate more in the world than Falkirk, Macca. Fair enough. Stranraer was championships a couple of years ago. Yep, we got an interview coming out with a Stranraer legend and coach on a podcast in Alan Jenkins. What a funny bloke he is. Best team in League 1 football, Falkirk, got beat 2-1 by us. Tom, suddenly the Arsenal relegation shout's gone quiet. Yeah, well, can I just say about your fan base, so have the Arteta outs and so's your Lacazette out. So, you know, let's be careful with that because all too fickle at Arsenal and they got to be careful what they wish for. It is not an immediate project and I'll continue to say that. Kilmarnock could be hard. The 4G surface doesn't help. East Fife have games in hand. That's how we're... yeah. Ryan Wallace. And in this save, we don't buy anyone from the transfer search screen or the player search screen. It's all director of football style or players that are naturally scouted, players in the transfer rumours or players we play against. So no player search screen, no staff search screen in any save. And then obviously in the head coach, it's all director of football based. We don't do anything. But in this one, no player or staff search. Yeah, Partick Thistle's another one that have dropped down. Yeah, you did beat Falkirk, to be fair. They've not been great, actually, this season. They've had some off days. But let's talk about the players out, because we had some big ones early on. Lewis Fraser went on a free. Jake Davison as well. But then the big ones. Liam Smith, the right back, went to St Johnstone for $425,000. He played in the Europa Conference for them as well. Good player. Josh Clark, the other right back, went to Hearts. $205,000. Hearts didn't come back up. They're still in the second tier. So there's an Edinburgh derby down there. But either way, he's gone as well. And for two pretty average right backs, to bring in 630 grand isn't bad. We then saw Ryan Edwards, the backup centre half, barely got a game. He went for 22 grand to MK Dons. Callum Butcher just turning the wrong side of 30 to Hull for 30,000 to be a backup. And Lewis Apere, a very much backup striker, lost his potential. He's gone to Inverness for £15,000. This season, in terms of sales, loads of loans out. Big ones, though, were Declan Glass, who went to Palace for $300,000. Not got the biggest potential, according to our sort of coaches and that. And he's 21 years of age, so it's a bit of a weird one. And they're still in the Premier League. They are. So I'm not sure why they've done that. But 300 grand, unless it was a teammate to make Scott Banks happy, I don't know. But he's gone out now. We've got Jordan Houghton, who went to Motherwell for 170,000. Started last season in the team, gradually dropped down the pecking order and never really set the world alight. A profit of 100 grand, we can't complain. So lots of good players out. If we have a look at the released as well, just in case there were any big ones, only backups really. Nicky Clark, who did play a little role for us, scored a few goals I think last year. Let's have a look. 2 league goals, 2 cup goals. So did contribute a bit. Paul McMullen, he went out as well. Last season, scored 1 cup goal for us and made a few league sub appearances. And of course, Cammy Smith, who was out on loan but didn't really set the world alight there either. So let's go back to the transfers, because ins are the next flavour of the month. Thank you to everyone coming in as well. Let me know as we're going through it what you think of the transfer window as well. Do appreciate it. Craig's happy because Nana said he's a Manchester United fan. Oh, Craig, don't give me your Ollie's at the wheel. All I've seen is Ollie out for months. And now I really hope, and I don't want them to generally, but I really hope Ollie wins the league. Just walks out and says you don't deserve it. Gaming with Core. Have you got FM on the Xbox? I haven't, unfortunately. I was going to get it for Christmas, but then this is taking up too much of my time, so I wouldn't really play it enough to do it justice. So a bit later in the year I might do. Oh, I've got a name I recognise down here. Dylan Pickup. Welcome along, son. How are you? Appreciate it. Have you seen Rashid tearing up the BBL? I was watching it just before. I was going to say it. Before I came on air, he was 2 for 6. The Adelaide strikers were completely out of it, and then Rashid Khan turns up. Absolutely love it. And you don't need to apologise for diverting from football. We mainly talk food, cricket, snooker, football and FM on here. So plenty of stuff to go through. But yeah, my boy Rashid's doing it again. But thank you for popping in. I do appreciate it. Motherwell, yeah, they're a good side, actually. Stephen Robinson's just resigned in real life. The keeper had a howler last night. It's my Aaron Chapman from the head coach as well. He played in the most memorable game this time last year, Watford Tranmere in the FA Cup, the 3-0. And now he's doing that against Hamilton Academical. It didn't go so well for him. Mackie, you've signed Stevie Milan. Of course I can't pronounce his name. Why would I research that? Sign Connor Cody when you can afford him. I tell you what, he's got to be a distant relative somewhere, isn't he? It's not the most common surname in the world, so maybe he is. And he's an Englishman with Irish blood, you never know. L Gaming, I didn't do it, I'll do it the weekend. Yeah, there's no games next weekend, L Gaming, because the FA Cup. So the next one, there's a few rearranged games on Tuesday the 12th, and then the next full fixture list is in 2 weeks. But I had a record bad week. I got the lowest ever score in the podcast history this week. Ollie out should not be a thing. I'm sorry. He's done a good job. Greeny, what's for breakfast, lad? Speaking of food. Well, I've missed the boat because we all got up a bit late today. So they're downstairs having a cooked breakfast, and I had a couple of leftover chocolates. So not a lot, mate. L Gaming, Load FM's a big fan of Rashid. Of course, Rashid Khan's a superstar. He just got named T20 Player of the Decade, which, considering he's only been playing for about 3 years, is pretty remarkable. He's just made such an impact. He just got the highest civilian order in Afghanistan as well. I mean, if he was British, he would have had knighthood at 20, so you can't argue much with that. But what a man he is, honestly. Man United, another pen, never a pen. Didn't see the United game. I only saw the West Brom v... Not West Brom. I saw Tottenham v Leeds in the lunchtime kickoff. I then saw Glentoran Portadown in the afternoon on BBC. Dundee Hearts, and then I watched the replay of Arsenal v West Brom. Oh, there's debates about the pen. I'll have to have a look later. I have recorded Match of the Day, so I'll go back and watch. Thank you to everyone coming in as well. Nearly at 20 viewers already. Please chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. It does make such a difference. But let's talk about the transfers in as well, because we've done all the outs and there is a lot going on. So firstly, before we get on to the new ones, the quick updates. Mengi is staying on loan until January at least. We'll try and extend it again then. But if we can get into European group stage football, Mengi's a good man to have. And we've really worked on getting his stamina and natural fitness up as well. So Ted and Mengi is the first man in. We've also got Tyreek Mitchell till January as well. He's going to be our starting left back. He's an absolute superstar. We've got... What else have we done? The only other one, I think, was the pre-agreed deal for Stuart Finley, which we knew about. He's basically our replacement for Mark Reynolds, who's now 34, and drop him right down. We've kept him in because he's the skipper at the club. But Stuart Finley, a natural partner for Mengi, a brilliant centre-half, 4-star ability, 4-star potential, and excellent determination. He's the sort of character we need. He's left-footed, so we've got natural balance. Got a 100% scoring record for Scotland, 1 in 1 cap. And we'll try and get him back in the team as he's playing for a European side in Scotland. So that was the early transfer work. And so far, we've got 4 in since this month as well. Game with Call, love the videos. Appreciate your kind words. Thank you for coming in this morning. L Gaming's having an argument with Craig now. I never thought you two would fall out on this. I didn't think the Spurs one was pen. Oh, Craig, it was a definite pen. He was on the line. He took out his leg. There you go. No, I've joined the Discord. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's a lovely little community. There's plenty of football chat on there. So thank you all for coming in there. And quick mention to L Gaming, who helped set it up as well. And thank you for all the support on the New Year message too. I know it was a break from our normal content, but it still went down well. So much appreciated. But let's have a look at the ins. And even two of these four are familiar to this club. And one of them is familiar from the head coach. And it might cause a bit of controversy. So firstly, Luke Bolton, we got on a free from Manchester City. We were just waiting for his wage demands to go down. So £2.5 a week, 2.5 star ability, 4.5 potential. He'll start the season as backup to Duffy. He's also going to be our auxiliary backup right back as well for now, just until we get somebody in. But he's someone I'm really looking forward to working with longer term, and I hope he continues to improve. We'll skip to Mark McNulty, who was the last one in. He wasn't actually loan listed, and I didn't think we were going to be able to get him. He was showing as unavailable for loan, so I just made an offer for 100% of his wages, which is £4.5 a week. And I accepted it, and he came in. So we've got the two back together. The only issue for the start is McNulty's not quite match fit, so it might take a couple of games for him. Next up is the Dundee hero. The man who created the best ever moment in our head coach series, just a matter of a week or two ago. I think it was on Boxing Day's episode, wasn't it? And he is coming from Norwich on a free, Carlton Morris. 2.5 star ability, 4 star potential. My new backup striker. A hero with Dundee in the head coach, and now a backup with Dundee United in this series. I couldn't turn him down because he was the best option available. But wow, there's definitely going to be some moments with him. And then lastly, as Macca mentioned, we have signed Stevie Milan. And there's some reasons I quite like him. 3 star ability, 4 star potential. Only 300 grand, which we will get a profit on. But he's an excellent free kick taker. More importantly, he's got an excellent long shot rating, which we might use. And he can play in both midfield roles. So I'm thinking to play him as box to box because he's got those good attacking attributes. If we can get him in towards the edge of the box, he'll get more shots in, I think. So, yeah, he's the sort of one I think is going to be absolutely fantastic. He doesn't mind trying the eye of the needle passes. And I think he's going to give us a chance. He was on a fire sale because Hibernian had been relegated. I did try to sign Kevin Nisbet, but he's worth 3.6 million. Absolutely baffling. But they're the deals we've done so far. We're still in the market for a right back, and we're going for either Luke Matheson, who we try to get on loan, or Moses Odebajo, who I don't think we're going to get now because, let's be honest, Matheson's the better of the two. So if we can get him on loan with no further commitment, we will. Jack Byrne is joining in January from Shamrock Rovers. He is a natural right winger who is really good. And again, it's a free agent deal. It's a low wage. I think it's a good one. So that's the transfer window so far. Let me catch up with the chat very quickly and then we'll get into the first game of the season. Grady, any news on the COVID outbreak at LTFC? I think the only issue with it really is the big huddle round the centre circle might not be a thing moving forward. It did seem a bit ill thought out, but I don't think the break actually harms either side, providing everyone stays well. Contact started outside the box with the Spurs one. It did, but I think they changed the ruling, didn't they? If it continues on the line or inside the box, it's then a penalty. So it's not where the offence starts anymore as it used to be. It's where it finishes as such. L Gaming, yeah, the Discord is great. I'd recommend joining it. Of course, the more the merrier. Craig, think the ref cost Celtic. It's a strange one. Macca, his surname rhymes with Allen. So is it Stevie Mallan then? But Stevie Mallan sounds better. And it sounds like the cricketer David Mallan, doesn't it? So, I don't know. I just feel like Mallan sounds better. I know it's frustrating. Thank you to everyone popping in as well. Please chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already, as we go and get into our first game of the season. And although the transfer work's good so far, there's still a couple of little holes in the squad that we haven't yet fulfilled. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out. We've still got a bit of budget remaining. We've still got a few players being scouted. The only one I'm worried about is our backup left back at the moment is Jamie Robson, the 23-year-old youngster. He is homegrown at the club, which is why I wanted him in the squad for Europe. But we're starting to get offers of like £250,000 with a sell-on future fee. If that gets up towards $500,000, I'll have to sell him. And we'll have to go and get another left back as well. But let's go and get into it. The first game is away to Kilmarnock. And I think, probably in my haste to get transfer work done, I've underbaked pre-season a little bit. So as you can see, the first 11, as it is on paper, probably looks like this. The only change would be Milan for Ray. But I want to reduce the amount of new signings in from the start. And we've already got Finlay at centre-half. And a couple of the ones that are coming back are still classed as new. So I want to help them out. We've promoted 3 youngsters to the first team. So Finn Malcolm, who got a couple off the bench at the end of last season. Kai Fotheringham, who's done a decent job out wide. And then Chris Mockery, who came back from his loan and looks a decent player at 18. If we can get that stamina up, he'll be a superstar. So that's the 11 we would go for. I don't know if because of the injury situation or because of fatigue, do we take out someone like Sporrell, for example? I've gone for Fuchs at right back today just because he's fitter than Pearson and he's been here longer than Bolton. But I don't know that that makes it the right decision. Chalmers is fitter on the left, so ideally we could bring him in. But I don't really know what to go for there. So I'm going to stick with it as it is. We're away from home. Sporrell's more defensive. The substitutes bench will be Matty Pearson and Jamie Robson as defenders. In midfield, we'll have Bolton, Milan and Chalmers. And up front, we'll have Finn Malcolm and Carlton Morris, I think. Or do we put one of the midfielders on? Basically, one of those youngsters is going to get on the bench every game. They're all now, bar Fotheringham. Oh, no, they're not. So the other 2 are rated 2 stars. So Mockery will go first. It looks like he might be the pick of the bunch. I think they've all got the same potential, bar Fotheringham. And Mockery's got the biggest potential. So that's job done for me. Let's catch up with the chat quickly. Mark, Stevie Milan. Yes, thank you for popping in. Appreciate it as always. David Milan was classed in the T20s. Absolutely. It's brilliant. Craig Hasselbank out. Was he even in the dugout yesterday? Because, I mean, our podcast had quite a good reaction. Although someone has slagged you off for saying that they'd go down. So I'll be interested to see that. But I think he'll do all right. He was one of the best options they had. Let's go and have a look at the lineup then and the team for today. I'm going to stick with the same mentality, the same tactic and the same sort of instructions for now. The only thing I was looking at is getting a long throw specialist, which we couldn't. And the only other thing I think we need to change moving forward is if we go to the set pieces, we've got a few new takers in. So, Lawrence Shankland will still take pens, but behind him, we've got Carlton Morris, Stevie Milan, Mark McNulty, Michael Duffy, and then Fuchs. Free kick takers, we need to get Stevie Milan on all direct free kicks. And now it's going to annoy you even more, because you've given me another name. I'm just rotating between the 2 now. I will get it eventually, but it'll take a while. So here he goes. He's the only free kick taker at the club, basically. And he's not starting today, so probably doesn't help many. We'll put Duffy on there as 3rd choice. Sporrell on as 4th. And then for the ones that are sort of slight chance of direct, we'll get Milan on for them as well. There we go. Corners. Well, it looks like he's just going to be doing set pieces across the board once he's in, doesn't it? So Milan first on corners. Duffy just behind him. And then O'Reilly and Sporrell. I can only apologise for the fact this isn't done already. It was last thing this morning before we started. Craig, no in the stand. So yeah, it'll be there definitely next time. Nevsky, welcome along. Appreciate you popping in. Missed the past few live streams. How you been getting on? We finished 3rd in the league. We've had a big summer transfer window. And now we are back for the first game of Season 2. Throw-ins. We've not got a long throw specialist. We just have to accept it. So we'll put the fullbacks in first. We haven't really got a right-sider. And we'll see what happens. But for today, it'll be Giandro Fuchs. Captains is a bit of a controversial one. Because to get Benji Siegrist to sign a new contract, I had to make him vice-captain. And he's not a great leader. So Mark Reynolds is the first choice, which means Siegrist is now going to be captain in the team. Glenn Ray will be the backup, then Matty Pearson, Luton full of leaders. And after that, maybe Stuart Finlay, I think. But aside from that, we've got some new contract news as well, which is really going to help us this season. Siegrist has signed a 3-year deal. Most importantly, Lawrence Shankland signed a 4-year deal and on less than $4,000 a week, which I don't quite know how. He played in most of the summer tournaments. Scotland were at the Euros, and he played in that one. But that's a really good contract for me to get him tied down as well. So that's the lineup we're going for. It's Siegrist in goal, Fuchs, Mendy, Finlay and Mitchell the back four, Sporrell, O'Reilly, Ray and Duffy as Milan works his way into the team, and McNulty alongside Shankland up top. The only things that are missing are a right back and then fitness for most of the 11. So let's see how fit Kilmarnock are and how much our lack of preparation costs us. McNulty's in and it's the first game of the SPL season. Let's see how we get on. Thank you to everyone popping in as well. We're into the 20s for viewers. Please chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. It does make a difference. Milan was my favourite player on FM20. He's a good player on here. Really is. Nanana, I'm doing Clyde FC. Fantastic reasoning as well. Clyde are a good side. They've got a player called David Goodwillie at the start as well. He used to be a top tier striker. Played for Dundee United quite a lot, ironically. Played in England a bit as well. I think Blackburn he was at. So they were a good side. I had a brief stint with them at the end of FM19, I think. But yeah, they're a really good club. I enjoy them. Macca, it's destroying my OCD listening to you pronounce it. Milan. Which way do you want it? L Gaming, all United do is score pens. To be honest, if you get into the box enough times, I know they've had a few debatable ones, but they've got those sorts of players that get into the box more. And the same for Tottenham. The same is going to be for Arsenal once they get firing with the youngsters. Now, my two saves are Clyde and Deportivo. That's not a bad selection at all. Obviously, ours are Bangor City and the head coach, so you get a lot of sort of unique differences between all of them, which is the main thing. Yeah, Craig, you're spot on. United haven't had the most pens this season. Dylan, good morning. Welcome along. Thank you for popping in. You're not the first Dylan this morning, ironically, but thank you for popping in as always. Good to have some of the regulars and a couple of new faces in today. Macca, Killy playing with Zanzala up front. He was in my Coventry side when I was there. He's a very good player. Jake, I've just seen yours. Welcome along. Thanks for popping in as always. Predictions for the football today. Let's go and have a look. We'll run you through all of the games in the big competitions. I think I'm down to watch Atalanta v Sassuolo because that's the only one on free TV. And all the Premier League's on Sky, isn't it? So let's go for... Let me get the football games up and I will tell you what the scores are going to be. So Newcastle-Leicester. Leicester on the roads. Probably nick a win because they're too good on the break. So I think that'll probably be 2-0 to Leicester. Maybe 2-1. But I'd definitely go for an away win. As Kilmarnock have got in, this is about to be a terrible start. Oh, it's a good block and Finlay clears. That could have been a disaster. I tell you what, we look a little bit disturbed here. Brophy's a player we looked at signing as well, but McNulty's nicked it. And as we've seen before, it only takes one or two of these counter-attacks as Shankland gets himself in behind. Kilmarnock sitting deep, there's players in the middle, but Medley wins it. It's out for a corner. And that is a pretty poor start to the game for us. Chelsea City, it's hard to tell. It's the sort of game Chelsea win, to be honest. Chelsea are dropping silly points at the minute, so I might go for Chelsea to nick it. Maybe 2 or 3-1 to Chelsea. Just because it will surprise people. This really hasn't been a great performance. We've had no possession. We've had no play. I'm going to drop to balanced as we're on the road. And we're just going to pump the fist because we need a bit more out of these boys. We might have to make changes soon as well, but not the best start. And it's Kilmarnock at the start of the second half as well. To Waters, to Hornstrup. The left back with the chance to put it into the box. Cuts it back to Power. Time 30 yards out. Finds McKenzie. Into Brophy. Must have been offside. Definitely was. The disallowed for offside. The assistant makes a good decision. Definitely looked off, but we might regret not signing him soon, as it's another free kick for Kilmarnock. Siegrist saves it. Going balanced hasn't helped us, so we're just going to demand more, because what on earth has happened? And this is the problem with underbaking a pre-season, is you waste 2 or 3 games at the start of the calendar year. At the start of the football calendar, sorry. And it might take us a while to get up to speed here, particularly with Europe on the horizon and 2 games a week. We're going to have some other players who aren't fit playing soon. As Malumbu tries to cross, back to Solly. Malumbu back again. Brophy in, it's blocked off the line. Finley's making a contribution back there. Apologies as the voice is going. As Power gets in, oh, it's a good save. This is a very strange game. We're being absolutely outclassed. McKenzie gets the ball into the box. Medley's there. And it's headed back out wide. We are clinging on. we're going to have to make changes. Of course, we're down to 7 subs on the bench and 3 subs made in a game. Siegrist has made another stunning one. I tell you what, the boy's earning his new contract, isn't he? But not having as many subs might cost us this season, particularly if we play like this too often. I'm going to go and make the first one already, I think. Glenray's nervous, but it's O'Reilly who's been the poorer. So I'm going to bring on Milan, or Milan, whichever way we're going round. Is it Stevie Mallan? I guess is the main one, isn't it? That's the way it's probably pronounced. But Milan sounds so much better. I'll call him Stevie Mallan if it makes you all happy. I don't know which way round to play these two. I think we're going to stick with Ray box to box. And we'll bring on Mallan as deep line playmaker. Fuchs has had a poor game at right back, so we'll bring on Pearson. Naturally a centre half, so a bit more defensive in that sense. And aside from that, we'll keep it going. We've probably got to save the last sub for Sporrell, and we'll see how he goes. Let me just see if there's any other big games in the other competitions today. So there's not any other Premier League games, are there? Thank you for the extra thumbs up and the extra views as well. Macary's happy I finally pronounced it right. And Brophy's in again. This is absolutely appalling. Morale and fitness are the 2 big things in Football Manager, and we have not nailed them this year. So I'm going to bring on Logan Chalmers. I'm going to go attacking because we've got to try and get something. As we give the ball away from a throw, Stevie Mallan's lost out to Brophy. Picks it up in the centre circle to Waters. Surges through, puts it wide. What the hell is going on? Let's berate them. It's the only way we're going to get anywhere, isn't it? We'll be more expressive. We'll run at the defence more. We'll counter press and we'll stay higher up the pitch. But there's not much more I can say. It's been an absolutely woeful performance. I knew the fitness was going to take a while, but look at the stats. Look how bad they are. And it's against one of the bottom half expected sides. As Mengi finds Duffy. Back to Pearson. Mengi again. Long ball forward. Brown heads away as far as Malumbu in the centre circle. And again, it looks like it's going to be 2 if anything. We haven't looked like scoring all day. It's been a really poor performance. Kilmarnock should be 5 or 6 up. They'll be devastated if they don't win. As Mayer gets it on the right, through to Power. And that is game over, is it? Hits the post. We still survive. What a terrible display, honestly. Really don't get it. Let's catch up with the chat quickly. Nanana's gone 3-0 Leicester, so 1 more than me. Since it's Scotland, I'll tell you about the Clyde FC. Yeah, Clyde's a good one. To be fair, most of us has ended up in Scotland this year in Football Manager. The front 2 didn't get any service. I'm not going to blame them for that performance, but that was disastrous. Unrecommendable. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate it. Finally able to watch you. Love the vids. Great stuff. Thank you for the kind words. Much appreciated. Apologies, the voices started to go. Craig Savage, me to beat Daniel in the quiz. No chance at all. Only if my voice completely runs out. Siegrist, decent keeper. Yeah, he is. He really is. He didn't really get a chance at Villa down south, but he's doing well up at Dundee United. Second season syndrome. Yeah, possibly. And with Europe as well, it's not going to get any easier. And we're on course to have the same at Dundee, aren't we? If you saw the first game of the season there, we didn't really do great in that one either. Mark and Macca, yes, please say it, Mark. I'm going to pronounce it wrong again now, I just know. Let's catch up. Stevie Mallan. I will try my best to remember it. But I can't promise that by Tuesday I'm not calling him Milan again. And you'll just have to keep nudging me every time. Rafi, welcome along. Thanks for popping in. Do appreciate it. Nana, yes, good luck at Clyde. Good luck to everyone in Scotland. It's been a real good thing for us this year. Mac are all about the final of the darts tonight. Come on, Team Ando. Has he made the final? The only thing I remember was him complaining on Sky Sports News a few days back. But he seems like a decent bloke. But I'm not really a big darts fan, to be honest. And I can't watch it all because it's basically exclusively on Sky, isn't it? So I can't watch any of it. Which is probably why I don't get up to date much. Let's skip ahead to the second game. We've got Hamilton Academical at home next. And without fitness, that's going to be difficult. Who's the other bloke in the final? Is it Gerwyn Price then, if you're saying Welsh? Okay, I have a question. I don't know if anyone would know this, but if Solihull went down, what league would they be in? They would probably be in the north, only because there's a lot of southern teams in the two leagues. So like only a year or so ago, they were talking about Hemel and Albans being in the south. So it depends which other teams go down, obviously, but it would probably be the north, unless a lot of northern teams have gone down. If you're a few years into a save, there's every chance that's the case, so could be either. But I would say north is more likely, but that's based on current real life. I'm just trying to get some of these kids into the under-23s or the reserves, because we need to get fitness into them. And even if we can get 3 or 4 playing, I think that would make a difference. I'm going to get Mockery off the bench for a minute, just so we can get him in too. And there we go. Let's get as much fitness as possible. It looks like Luke Matheson's on his way. £4 a week contribution. We have ourselves a right back. We're almost getting there. 3-star ability, 5-star potential. But attribute-wise on the comparison, he's far better than the others. And he will develop as well, like a Mengi has. He'll become a superstar. Mark Reynolds is introducing him. He's a good player. We pulled out of the Moses Ojabajo deal because we had a better option, unfortunately. And it's just as cheap. Let's have a look at the chat again. Unrecommendable. What's your favourite formation this year? Do you know what? I haven't really ended up having one, because in every save we've ended up with a different formation. The 4-4-2s work brilliantly here. And it worked really well at Brechin at the start of the head coach. I'm trying to think of the other ones. It worked quite well at Arbroath as well. It's probably been my most successful. But then the 4-3-3 with the holding midfielder worked really well at Wigan in the beta live stream series. It also works really well at the moment with Dundee and the head coach. And then at Bangor I'm playing the narrow diamond. And although we've had some frustrations with it, when the football's at its best, it's scintillating. So I don't know which one would be the best. I'd say early on in the lower leagues or working your way through, 4-4-2 is normally my go-to. But generally, I'm the man for a 4-3-3. So whether that's a holding midfielder or a number 10 in a 4-2-3-1, that's normally my preference. It's either wingers or a front two. Charlie Brackley are in the North League, so it depends who else goes down. Yeah, exactly. As we said, it depends on which teams are going up and down. Yeah, Jake, Gloucester are in the North at the minute. It's a really bizarre league. So St Albans or Hemel, I can't remember which one. I'm pretty sure it's Hemel. They are the most north of the southern teams, and they're further south than Luton, which is 25 miles from London. So yeah, it's a very bizarre setup. I don't know what Andrew and Charlie are talking about. Saturday evening in the laundrette. I don't think I want to know more about that story, mate. Jake, why don't you get the face pack? So there's a few reasons for it. The first one is something that honestly has never bothered me, to be honest. The second one is that looking longer term, Sports Interactive can't support any series or any videos or anything that have got face packs in. The leagues we're in at the moment, so like the Scottish Premiership, are fully licensed anyway, so it's not a problem. We don't really spend much time in the unlicensed leagues. Most of our time in like the head coach is working our way through the lower leagues, through the Northern Irish Prem, through the Scottish leagues. We don't really spend a lot of time in those leagues. And I don't know, it's something that's never bothered me. And for the hassle of not then being able to do some of the official things, it just seems a little bit not worth it on the balance of views, to be honest. That's it. I know it's something that the odd person's really bothered by, but for me, it's never been an issue. I've never used them in the past, so probably not. That's all, to be honest. Craig, yeah, Kettering are in the North. That's a very good example. We started with them last year, didn't we, in the head coach? Charlie, Ballymena beat Larne yesterday. Jeffrey out. Yeah, it's quite an interesting one, isn't it? Because you were leaking news that the Ballymena board were thinking of sacking David Jeffrey a few weeks back. And he's basically not lost a game, really, since. A proper good manager. One of the most successful in Irish League history, if not the most successful. Just going to have a look at the table, because we predicted Ballymena to be 7th or 8th. They haven't invested a huge amount. I'm just looking after yesterday's results. They're 4th. Okay, Coleraine with a game in hand, but they're above the likes of Cliftonville, Coleraine and Glentoran, which is a remarkable achievement. They're just behind the big three. They're behind they're the best of the semi-professional sides at the moment. What more do that board want? They're unbeaten in 5. I'm so happy he's done that. Teach him a lesson to think about that. And we've got a Ballymena legend getting interviewed on the podcast this week in Alan Jenkins as well. That'll be out in a few days' time. We're just waiting for Sheffield Wednesday to appoint their manager. Yeah, Braintree were in the north at one point. Unrecommendable. I've started a save with Welsh side. Oh, I can't pronounce the ones with the W's in. My local side that's not Newport or Cardiff. So it's really, really good. Oh, fair enough. I've got to say, I quite like the Welsh leagues. I've done it before with I started an off-camera head coach once with Llandudno when they were in the top tier. Played a flat 4-3-3 there. It's the only time I've ever done it. I've just seen a player pop up in the scout reports. Looks good value. Midfielder who can't pass though. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm going to reject this Robson deal, but if they get bigger, I'm going to take them. I'm really enjoying the Bangor save as well. I've got to be honest, once I got to the top tier, I thought it would be easy, being a professional side. But I've quite liked the fact that some of the semi-pro sides are beating us, are finishing above us, that we've struggled and we've not won the Welsh Cup, for example. And therefore it's been harder to get, because we've not had Champions League football every year. So that's been really good, actually. I've got to say, the Welsh League's been a pleasant surprise for me. As was Northern Ireland last year, I loved it. I think for FM22, we probably will come back to England for a one-club story, because I haven't done one for a couple of years now. But hopefully it'll be something with a little bit of a real-life spice if the pandemic is over or largely over. Thank you to everyone popping in as well. We're still in the 20s for views. It's absolutely mad. If you haven't yet, please chuck a thumbs up on it. It does make a difference. Of course, let everyone know that we're here. Recommend us to anyone. It is much appreciated. As I said in the New Year message, to get past 2,000 within 7 weeks of the new game is remarkable. Basically, the channel's grown 50% in 2 months. And it continues to. It's gained 50 since that New Year message, which is remarkable. So, thank you so much for it. Jack Newman. I want to feel like I'm an integral part of the side. You're not a star player. Yeah, I'll move him on because he's 19, he's 2-star ability, and he thinks he runs the world. We've got some offers in for him. I'll wait until they're slightly bigger. And if so, again, we'll sell him. Because it's some of our less good young players who think they're the better ones. And the 3 that we want are in the top tier, or in the first team already. Charlie, who's been your best signing in the Bangor save? That's a great question. I mean, I guess on the early years, I have to say Samuel Fanian, because he fired us to promotion. I think he scored the winning goal in the League Cup. And he's been an ever-present in the first 3 seasons. I think some of the players I've signed this summer are going to be my stars, because they're significantly better than anyone we've ever had. And I think they'll be the team we build for the next 4 or 5 years. But of the sort of first generation of team before this latest transition, it would be Samuel Fanian, I think. Right, let's go and pick the lineup for this one. Luke Matheson will come straight into the side. A few of the lads are a bit fitter now. We'll drop Ray out for Fuchs in centre midfield. Remind me to go and change the throw-in takers. So Matheson is the first one on the right. Where is he there? Right back, Luke Matheson. There we go. Obviously a well-known name for his antics at Rochdale at 16, but not since. So Ray's going to come into the bench, and that's it. That's our first choice day team, basically, isn't it? What's Fuchs' better role in centre mid? Should we get off the box-to-box midfielder? It's not a role that worked that well last year. He averaged 6.75, only got 1 goal. I haven't really tried a centre midfielder this year. I'm tempted to do it. I mean, we did it in Dundee, but that's in a midfield 3. I'm going to play a centre midfielder on support and just see how it works. It will suit Ray better as well. Obviously, do we bring Stevie Mallon in for this one? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Mallon's coming in. What's his favoured role? His favoured role is box to box. There you go. So after all that, we're back to what we were doing. We just need to get the front two fit and in form. Shankland is there now. Sporrell's not far away. The rest of the team are probably one game away. What I do worry about, though, is next Wednesday we've got the League Cup against Livingston. We can rest a few there, but that's over a week off because of the Friday fixture. So Matheson's in. He'll be number 18. And let's get into the second game. Our first home one of the season. And if we lose at home to Hamilton, I think we could say we're not going to finish third this year. Unrecommendable, always the same. I found lower leagues or lower clubs more fun to manage than the big ones. I like the reward of getting to the big clubs in the end in the head coach because you don't have the say in the transfers and the contracts and that. But in the normal saves, I would never just start as a massive club for a long-term challenge to just keep winning and winning and winning. I don't find that enjoyable, to be honest. So yeah, I'll always be starting lower here. Or if we're doing bigger ones, it'll be short-term series normally, rather than big ones. But it's one of the things that frustrates me about the beta, is that obviously all the big YouTubers, they go and do a beta with a big club because they can get loads of their fans to come in and watch it. Whereas for me, I just prefer to start the long-term stories because they're always more enjoyable. There's never anything really game-breaking. The beta's now basically a good full version of the game, isn't it? So that's always my way. Andrew Green, Charlie, are you back in as normal tomorrow? Yeah, I don't want to get started on the school situation. My other half obviously works in one as well, so similar situation here. And we've had a few contacts for isolations for our GP work, so that's going to be fun. Might be a jack of all trades tomorrow. We're dominating this match, which is a good sign. We haven't scored a goal. We haven't really looked like scoring one either. And look who's at right back for Hamilton. It's Hakeem Adoffin, star of the head coach at Dundee. Is he going to get one over on us here? Here's Adoffin on the right. Gets the ball in. Mitchell heads away to Sporrell. Hoofs it clear. We need this front two to counter a bit more. And they're not really doing it today. I just worry we look a bit toothless at the minute. And don't forget, we finished last season pretty averagely. It was a 5-0 defeat against Rangers. And the boys actually refunded the fans that day. As Martin gets it in the middle, finds Minor. It's dominance here. Hamilton are all over us. And we just can't get out. As Martin finds Minor again. Goes from distance. Good save, Segrist. But some worrying, alarming signs here. What do you make of these photos of players openly breaking lockdown rules, and what would you do about it? Well, I'd force them to isolate for 14 days and not get paid, which is what happens for most of us in the normal working world. We get statutory sick pay, so make them do it. 2 weeks. 2 weeks of earning 90 quid a week and see if they learn a lesson. Well, Charlie, that's my answer to Tom's question. Find them and give them to key workers. Yeah, that should be it actually, shouldn't it? 2 weeks off and then 2 weeks working in sort of my sort of setting. Come and work in a key worker industry, in a supermarket or whatever. 2 weeks isolation, 2 weeks service working there, and then back into it. And then you wouldn't have these players doing it 3 or 4 times, would you? Right, let's point the finger. We're going to say we're not happy. Few of the lads nervous. I'm not sure where this has crept in from. We've got stronger characters than we had last year where we've added. So I'm not sure why it's a struggle. But we've not really looked like we're dominating this game. And it's Hamilton coming forward again here. Minor gets the cross in. It's to the back stick. That was a sitter. They had to score that. But we've got a free kick ourselves. Milan puts it in. Into Mengi. I've got the name wrong again. But Mengi heads over. Good opportunity. It's frustrating. Because I know if we were match fit, we'd be winning this hands down. 25 to go. I don't know what to do. They've got a midfield 4, so we can play wider here. I don't know how else to get something out of these boys. It's not that anyone's playing particularly badly. I mean, I might put the fullbacks on more supportive duties. It's something that benefits the individual ratings, but not the team performance normally. Stevie Mallon's knackered, so he's going to have to come off in a minute. As Sporrell flicks on. McNulty gets there. Shankland's in the middle. That has to be it. There it is. Oh, he's put it at the keeper. Shankland has hit it straight at the goalkeeper. That is an absolute sitter. Had to score. We will bring on Fuchs in centre mid. We will bring on Bolton right mid. And we'll leave it at that for now. But what can you say about that? Absolutely astonishing, really. Let's try and fire the boys up because we've got a good side. We've got opportunities. 10 minutes to go. Sporrell's knackered. We'll replace him with Chalmers. I think they're going to draw 0-0. It might even get worse here because it's a counter-attack for Hamilton. Down the left with McCann from the throw-in. Plays the 1-2 and now he's working the line. No pressure on him. Gets it in. O'Reilly clears. Chalmers can't get there though and a Doffin will bring it forward. He's being forced back. It's good pressing from Chalmers. And he's down the line to Mitchell who intercepts. Clears it long downfield and again straight back to him. Really not good enough. Mengi heads away to Bolton. This is where we have to counter. Bolton down the right. He's got two strikers up there. And he's still got out of the challenge. Well done, Luke Bolton. Tries to get the cross in. It's poor. Straight at the first man who blocks it. And Matheson heads away to Bolton again. It's a scrappy game. It's not been utter dominance, but Chalmers is here down the left. Into the box. Crosses again. It's poor. They're not picking anyone out. They're just sort of floating them in there. And now on the counter, Winter's in one-on-one. Hamilton could take the lead here. It's blocked back and they're in. Oh, frustration. This is going to be a long season. I'm hoping it will turn as soon as we've got people fit. But this is not pleasant at all to watch. And yes, we've been a better side, but Hamilton have had their fair share. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not happy. Let me catch up with the chat, see if there's anything that will be slightly less unpleasant. But I think we're in big trouble. Next up is the League Cup, which we've got to try and defend. Is that McNulty wants to end a goal drought? Shankland wants to end a goal drought. Oh, both of them. That's what happens. It's the same with Dundee. As soon as Carlton Morris gets into a goal drought, we can't do anything. Play your wingbacks higher up. Tom, make load FM, low PM. Not a job I want in a million years. Unfortunately, while the House of Lords is still there as well, and I'm not going to get too political, we will always be dictated to by those with lands, largely. Andrew Green, you're only against Hamilton, lad. I know, mate. I know. You'd vote for low PM. I don't know about that. There's plenty of things you probably wouldn't agree with me on. I do find it funny, like some of the things on Twitter, you know, like the anti-vaxxers and all that sort of stuff. The ones going like, where the vaccine is, what's in it and all of that. Absolute hilarious. Charlie, I'd vote for low PM. Craig dresses like Boris. I don't think so, mate. I don't think you'll ever see me in a tie that goes down to my knees. Or a tie at all. Well, that was the Hamilton formation, yeah. Green, your reaction to that goal was superb. Thank you very much. There's been a few of them about, mate, to be honest. Charlie often finds his favourite ones of the week and then just sends them to me on repeat. Craig, you won't last in the season. I will last the season. Once we get this team match fit and the two strikers in their goal drought, we'll bang them in for fun. The problem is, you just go through these little spells where it just doesn't work out. And because we're early in the season, we can't warn them on the goal drought. So we're going to have to live with the League Cup tie and with the next league game. And then after that, I think the tables will turn. It's like Emery, Craig. I don't think so. Macca is all going Pete Tong. It's not going well. It's not going well. Thank you to everyone popping in as well. It's been great to be consistently around the 20 viewer mark the whole time. We've built a lovely little community here and I do appreciate it. Of course, you can find out if I get sacked on Tuesday at R5 where we will continue to be back for this. And if we don't qualify for the Europa League group stages, we might have a trouble. Oh, look at this deal. 400 grand for Jamie Robson. He's never going to make it. Let's do what we always do. We're going to go for double or quits. So we'll go just under double, 600 grand. But then we'll go 150 there. So that's 750,000. And then we'll put on a percentage of next sale as 50%. And do you know what? As it's Newcastle, we'll get a friendly thrown in as well. So they've taken out the friendly, which I'll then put in as a sticking point. I'm just going to keep working back to it. 150 grand and 600 grand. If they don't want it, they can't have him. Oh, now they've given us a teaser. They've offered 600 grand plus 50% and a friendly. Let me know down in the comments quick time. I think we've got to go for it, haven't we? Let me know. I'm thinking to accept it. Let me know if you disagree. Unrecommended. I found what the Argentine Prime Minister said. They will turn us into crocodiles. It's hilarious. I mean, the DNA editing, the one I saw is, no, it's not been given in a GP surgery. I said, well, my GP surgery's given it. I'm working there. You know, we've given 1,100. And they go, no, it's not. Look at this article. I said, yeah, but I'm actually here. It's quite funny. But you can't... The problem is, it's not there. I think Richard Osman's tweet was the most spot-on one, which is, to ignore all knowledge is not sensible. Is not clever. To understand what is the truth is clever. So, Greeny, unrecommendable. Mark, you've all said accept. Tom, has the post-Christmas diet started? If you were here earlier, which you wouldn't be because you're not up at 10:30, I said I have chocolate for breakfast, so make of that what you will. Macca says accept. Right, we're going to accept it. It's 600 grand plus a 50% sell-on, which we'll never get. We're giving a bit of money to Breakin as well, a couple of grand, so definitely have to accept. But what that does mean is we now need to go to our scouted players and see if we've got any left-backs in there. We spent the whole summer looking for right-backs, and now it's a left-back we're going to need. Tommy Rowe, he's a bit too past his prime now. Leif Davis from Leeds, could get him on loan, but that would create a bit too much there. Reece Devine, we could bring him back again. Brandon Fleming. I'm trying to get someone who's cheap. Ben Perrin at 90 grand. 25 years of age. He was at Plymouth as a youngster, wasn't he? He was. Dan Potts from Luton. He's on the cheap list. Let's go for him, shall we? We've got enough of the Luton team here. We might as well get another one in. So I'll scout him. I think Vincent Young's naturally a right back, he is. And I'll scout Ben Purrington because they're the two that look like they're available on the cheap. Joe Mattock's a bit older. Was a wonder kid right back in the 2000s, but not now. It's only a backup we're looking for, don't forget. Vashon Neuville, not good enough. Any other little deals? Max Melbourne, maybe? We'll scout him as well. So they're the three we're going to look at. I will also go to the director of football and suggest any free agent left-backs he can find. No players found. End of contract. No players found. On loan. Same players we've already scouted, really. Transfers, maybe? Because we are going to need a long-term replacement. Jake Carroll's 29. I don't really want him. Neil Taylor's 32. And Andrew Hughes, 29. So we'll stick with what we've got. We'll see what the scout reports do. Yep, Jed and Keaty accept 2. Mark Macaulay-Davis, he's not better than Mitchell, and it's only a loan deal. If we could have got him on a permanent, it would have worked. Charlie, I don't think Big Romana's quite good enough in this game, unfortunately. I will go and look for you. In fact, we'll have a look at the Irish League to see who won the first season. Right, Stevie Mallon's fit. The only worry is the cup game's tomorrow, isn't it? So I don't really want to put all the reserves in there, because they're probably going to play in this cup tie. So we'll leave it for now. Jed Keaty, is Sol Davis still around? I don't know what he's doing with himself these days, actually. He did well to come back and have a career after the stroke, to be fair. So then go and have another 10-year career, but... And he'll always be famous for that Ricardo Fuller moment, won't he? So there's no mention of him since 2015 Warminster Town. No, I don't really see much about him. After Cardiff FC, I need a new team in the Championship. Maybe Preston or Sheffield Wednesday. Got to be Luton Town. We're always going to recommend that here. Andrew Green, Batty loan. So, if I show you him. Calvin Bassey. He's on loan from Rangers at Middlesbrough already. So he's playing probably at a bigger level, to be honest with you. Oh, we've been recommended to sign Ronan Curtis, which we're not going to. Let's go and look at the Irish Prem. Oh, I've gone to the wrong one. Oh, it's the Danske Bank on here, isn't it? So Linfield won it again. And interestingly, Charlie, today's Bangor City episode, we're in what was the Tannadice Caramel Wafer Cup, now the Trust Trophy Shield or whatever it's called. We're playing against Larne, so it'll be a real marker, Bangor v Larne. Linfield won it, Glentoran second, Larne third, well ahead of the rest. Coleraine in the bottom half, but then won the European playoffs. Portadown finished bottom. Wow, did not expect that. But I suppose the young players on there, they've never got the mentality, have they? And that's so important in FM. Yeah, Davis is superb on this year's game. Him and Mitchell are the best two young left-backs available from the Premier League. How much would Reece Devine cost as a young backup? That's the thing, I don't think we can get him on a permanent. And I don't really want to keep relying on loanies. We've had a very similar offer here from Fulham, but it's not a 50% sell-on. And that is always my main marker. Matt O'Reilly's continuing to become quality. We're still looking at fitness coaches we can get in and scouts. So let's have a look at this guy. He's not bad. And he's not as good. So we're going to go for Dave Carolan. As you've seen from our match sharpness and pre-season, fitness coaches are important. We've got one more scouting position. Russ Wilcox back there at Scunthorpe as a coach. Mick Taylor's at Fleetwood. And Rich Hughes, Forest Green. They're not good enough. Not to spend money or compensation on. Should we just go and have a quick look at the transfer rumours, just to see if we're linked with anyone? Josh Laurent for $1.5 million. Jordan Graham. It's not great. Tom Pearce. Oh, we had him at Wigan. That's a good shout. Tom Pearce, the left-back that had a strop at us at Wigan, but is a decent player. We'll have a look at him. And he's actually developed in that save because he was playing. Right, Livingston at home, League Cup. This is a big one. We've got most of the first team fit now, and we've got another 2 big games coming up. So, we've not got a game at the weekends. We've got 8 days off till the qualifier, so we might as well play the first team then. The morale's okay. We'll get the first 11 in, and we will... What's O'Reilly's best position, by the way? It says he's 3.5 star, but I don't know where he's actually 3.5 star. Is it number 10? No. Very strange. So the only difference for this competition, now that Robson's on his way out, we'll bring on one of the youngsters to the bench. And we'll try and get all 3 of them on there. So, I don't know who's best. I really don't know what to go for here. I'm tempted to bring in Chalmers for Sporrell. But he's one of the only ones that's not match fit. This is a right dilemma, this. Finn Malcolm on the bench for Morris. Let's just do it. And Fotheringham on the bench for... I'm tempted to say Fuchs. I'm going to do it for Fuchs. There we go. Let's get into it. First League Cup game as we try to defend our crown. After a thumping win against Celtic in the final last year. That's who we'd like to have. Charlie Eccles. Oh, Tom, you're spot on. I didn't say it yet. Charlie, which cake? Eccles or Welsh cake? Just Eccles for me. A good Eccles cake is brilliant. Had an awful one from a local bakery recently, which put me off. But Eccles cakes at their best are my favourite because it's more raisin or sultana, and that's what I'm a fan of. Welsh cakes are brilliant though, and they're better value for money. But the packaged ones you get in like the shops and that aren't the same. For a Welsh cake, it's got to be fresh to be good. Whereas pre-packaged Eccles cakes can normally be brilliant. So that's why I would pick that. They're a more versatile cake. Into the first half against Livingston. We'll see how we get on. 2 defensive midfielders for them. Is that Scott Pittman? It is. Our Dundee hero. Not quite as good in that save. Must have had some injuries. But let's see what happens with the first half. We just can't score goals at the minute. Craig undemonetised. What's that for? What did I say? Zeno, who did you buy for this season? So we got Bolton in on a permanent. We reloaned Mengi and Mitchell. Sporrell scored a goal. We don't need the front 2. We got Stevie Mallon from Hibernian who got relegated. We've just got Luke Matheson on loan. Colton Morris, our Dundee hero, came on a free as our backup striker. And Mark McNulty's just come back on loan as well. And in the pre-agreed one from a previous stream was Finley coming in at centre-half. New contracts for Siegrist and Shankland. Mitchell to O'Reilly in the middle. If one of these strikers gets a goal today, they'll go on a run. Ideally, we'd like both of them to, and to get a thumping under our belts, because it will change the season. As Sporrell gets down the left, he's got two in the middle. Just needs to find a head and deflect in. O'Reilly edge of the box. Into Shankland. There it is. Lawrence Shankland will score 30 goals this year. The goal drought is over, and that is exactly what we needed. Dylan, yeah, good lad. Eccles Cake up the north. Eccles Cake is absolutely stunning. Mackerel Welsh Cake is basically a thinner scone, in essence. But they dust it with sugar instead. And instead of having like that crusty edge, it's sort of a flat... It's between a thick pancake and a thin scone. And you can fill it with whatever. So they do lots of plain ones, currants, they do savoury ones as well. It's just a really nice snack, basically. And yes, it is from Wales. But in Cardiff Market, they were knocking them out. Tom, what were they? 15, 20p each? Remarkable value. Oh, Macca and Eccles Cake, yeah. Absolutely stunning. Tom, Eccles for the cricket, yeah. Make sure you two between you sort them out. If we're going to a cricket up north, I want Eccles Cakes on the board. I will pay face value. You tell me the cost of the ingredients and I will deliver. Craig Tunnock's. Oh, Tunnock's Caramel Wafers. We love them. Shame they stopped the sponsorship. No, nobody told me in Scotland I need to renew so many contracts. Oh, any lower league. Scotland, even in England, up to sort of League One, you have to do so many contractual bits. Because there's, especially with there being a pandemic, not so long contracts have been stopped. So even a club like ours, Luton in a championship, we're running on 1 and 2 year deals. Zeno, why are Hibs so rubbish in this year's game? They got relegated for me as well. Either the researchers up in Scotland are a Hearts fan, or I think it's mentality things. Because some of the younger Hibs players haven't got a great mentality. Like if we go and have a look at Hibs quickly, we'll make our subs after that. We go and have a look at Hibs. So I just want to show you like some of their experienced players. David Gray has got the good personality, but he's past the hill in terms of physicality. Stephen McGinn was there, wasn't he, at 32. Good personality, past the hill physically. Nisbet as a young player should be scoring goals galore. Brandon Barker, look at the personality. 3 for determination. When they concede a goal, goes missing. Carl McGuinness, ambitious but an average personality, average physicality. So it seems to be the physical side that's missing a bit. If we look at the ones that have gone out, Martin Boyle went to Leisure. Balanced mentality, not the best. Dre Wright went to Hamilton. That's fairly professional, so I can't argue with that. Marciano, balanced mentality. Hallberg, out. Fairly sporting, not really a big determined character. And Milan, who's come to us, fairly ambitious, but not much on the determination front. So a lack of physicality, a lack of determination, and maybe just a poor tactical setup. That's all it needs to take sometimes. So because we're 2-0 up here, I'm going to make changes. I'm going to take McNulty off and bring on the youngster Finn Malcolm. I'm going to bring on Chris Mockery for his debut ahead of Milano O'Reilly. Malin, sorry. I think Mockery is probably better as a playmaker. I would argue yes. And then Duffy will be replaced by Fotheringham on the right wing. So they're the 3 changes made. All 3 of the youngsters brought in. And moving forward for Europe, we need them to succeed. Well, yes, it is a cake from Wales. I'll give you that. Tunnock's tea cakes are the kings of all cake-based snacks. That is a right tongue twister you've put out there. I'm not a massive fan of tea cakes, to be honest. I hate to say it because I know it will upset a few, but the caramel wafer's the one for me. I'm just not a massive tea cake fan, unfortunately. I used to prefer just like the basic fruit cakes, but there we go. What's one thing you want from Kenilworth Road to Power Court? Oh, a few had mentioned it already. The Skeff clock. That's definitely the one. And it will be going by the looks of it. It's got to be that. Or the MasterChef sign next to the scoreboard now. Although that's far more recent. But yeah, for me, it's got to be the clock. And that's always the way, isn't it? New ground to old. It's always the thing that people remember the most. Because when you're winning 1-0, it's the thing you spend the most time staring at. It was the same for Arsenal, wasn't it, from the old stadium? Segrist has got a goal kick. I mean, I think we're going to win this comfortably, which is a good sign. Shankland ending his goal drought is the most important thing. And 3 youngsters getting on off the bench. Homegrown academy players. It's an absolutely brilliant day. And if we do end up selling Robson, the 3 academy stars become more important for Europe. As Robinson comes down the right-hand side, we don't want to lose the clean sheet here. Pittman to Ambrose, into the box. Oh, Mengi's missed it, but it hits the bar. So a solid performance. We've still got to get McNulty fit and firing, but we're happy enough as it is. Thank you to everyone joining along as well. 16 thumbs up is absolutely incredible. Thank you all for your support. Thank you all for your viewership throughout the morning. What we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it after this game, because we are nearly at 12 o'clock already, and I don't want you to miss today's sport. But we'll have a look at how the fixtures pan out, because I think we'll have the Europa playoff in the next episode on Tuesday evening. And we'll also have plenty of the other action as well. So, we did really well there. Lawrence Shankland's got his goal. That's a positive sign. Little bit of money as well. We're happy with that. Shankland finally scores 15 hours. Was it that long at the end of last year? Oh, it's because I tell you what, it's because he played in the Euros. Oh, no, he didn't. He didn't score towards the end of last season. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. He didn't score in the last 8 games. I didn't even realise. But he didn't score in the Euros either, which is the problem. Because he was playing for Scotland against some massive sides like France and that. Wasn't getting a sniff. And then it affects his sort of confidence when he comes back. But let's have a look at the schedule. The next episode is massive. We will have the Europa playoff. Should we see who gets through in this one first? When is the next game of that? If we can just skip ahead and find out who we're playing at least. So that is tomorrow, the 12th. So let's go and watch that one. It's 1-1 into the second leg. And then we'll see who we're actually playing at the start of tomorrow, Tuesday evening's episode. And then we've also got Celtic, who of course we won in a League Cup final against last year, but we had a great unbeaten record until the last time we played them. That was the shame. And is it going to be Swedish opposition or is it going to be a trip across? It's Swedish opposition. Gothenburg get through. Their star player is Moses McCarthy, who's not bad. Oh, he's injured now. He's out for 3 weeks. They've got Melker Hallberg. Isn't that the one who just went from Hibs? It is. So one of Hibs stars has gone to Gothenburg and we'll be facing him in the Europa League. If we look at some of the greyed out players, they're sort of a bit, probably about a level below ours. Oh, he's not. So they've got a real mix. I've got a feeling that's going to be a very tight tie. So let's go and have a look at the schedule. We're away first, which could be crucial. So next Thursday, we will be back for the first leg of the Europa League playoff round. We've got Celtic away in between, which we might have to sacrifice. And then the home leg before Dunfermline and transfer deadline day. What a finish to the window that's going to be. Craig, will Poch take any of his former players? I think Dele Alli will go. I really do. Don't know about the Lloris one. Probably not in January, but maybe at the end of the year. After the Euros, back to France for him. I don't think Jose would mind that either. But that's what we'll be back for. It's going to be a massive episode. 4 games and the end of the transfer window. We'll find out if Robson makes his big move away. We'll get in a replacement and maybe 1 or 2 more. We need a bit of gold dust. We need strength in depth. We'll see if we can get it. We'll then probably, looking at that, play the start of September off camera until we get to our first Europa League game, which should be just before or after St Johnstone. And then we'll just try and balance it out a bit. I want to show as much of Europe's first year. And if we play a few games off camera in between, then so be it. But that's it for me. A really good position to be in. I didn't realise Ayr are in the Scottish Premiership here. So they must have been champions based on Dunfermline winning the playoffs. We've got Luca Cannell from Celtic. Sorry to get distracted. Aidan White from Hearts. Luca Cannell from Celtic. A few free agents who aren't particularly good. Darren Watson on loan from us. They're a decent little side. They're signing mainly from the lower leagues, but some of those bigger loan stars could be great. And they've signed a lot of players. Stephen Whittaker's in there at 37 years of age. Well, there you go. Who would have thought that would be the end to the episode? You probably noticed that an hour ago and I didn't. Good stream again, Macca. Thank you. Appreciate you coming in. We will be back on Tuesday at 5:30. It is Europa League playoff football with Dundee United and an Old Firm test against Celtic. So I hope to see you there. Thank you for making it so active this morning. Thank you all for popping in. I'll see you on Tuesday night. Thanks for watching.